The Everything PT podcast is sponsored by Vald Performance. Vald is the creator of the airbands for blood flow restriction therapy. If you are looking to stay up to date with today's post-surgical modalities and adding VFR to your clinic, please visit valdperformance.com.
Hey, all you rehab specialists out there. Do you have an isokinetic dynamometer just sitting around your clinic not being used? Little known fact, isokinetic machines that aren't used regularly are at higher risk for bouts of sadness. Help your machine out and take CSMI's newest CEU course, Isokinetics 101 online, created by me, Daniel Bodkin, and learn how to use all of the exercise and testing applications available on your machine. With new and exciting rehab techniques in your toolbox, your sad isokinetic machine can become an active member of the rehab team again and regain its happiness. Isokinetics 101 online by CSMI has been approved for 8 credit hours for athletic trainers, physical therapists, and physical therapy assistants. Contact your state board for details on specific requirements. This course is available at humacnorm.com/courses/isokinetics-101.
Hello, and welcome to the Everything PT podcast with Matt Taylor and Daniel Bodkin. Please do not consider anything you hear to be medical advice. Just a couple of guys ranting about everything PT. Enjoy the show. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Everything PT podcast again. I'm Matt Taylor, and joined by my esteemed colleague, Daniel Bodkin. How are you, Daniel?
I'm good, man. You caught me right in the middle of an upper body pull exercise or workout. So I'm halfway through. Got to go back down to the basement and finish it when we're done.
Just getting swole. I love it. I got mine in early this morning. It's best for my marriage if I exercise in the morning, early in the morning.
You live right next to your clinic, your gym.
Yes.
I mean, my clinic or my gym is in my basement.
Yes.
Then I work from home. So I justify working out in the middle of the day because I'm up at 4:00 putting together workouts for people. And I'm usually training people from 5 in the morning to 6. And then I also work into the evenings and weekends sometimes. So I don't mind justifying like, here, let me take an hour and a half in the middle of the workday to do my workout. So
that's pretty sweet. Just being a strength and conditioning nerd, I know you lose a little bit of strength in the morning, but it just works out better for my schedule for sure.
I just take as much pre-workout that I can to not give myself a myocardial infarction, and I'll be good.
I got chest pain last time I took pre-workout. Yeah, I was
got that good stuff, man.
Yeah, man. So I haven't taken it. I take some strong coffee, and I'm ready to go. So.
I remember the days when ephedrine was legal. I was actually I was in the Army before my PT career, and we would just pop Rip Fuel, ephedrine. 2 or 3 of them, not even think about it. It's like, holy crap. And I remember one time
people
a guy I was working out with basically had an event and the medics had to come out. And after that, I remember our first sergeant and he was like, went through the barracks, and if you had any supplements at all, he like threw them away. So we just got really good at hiding them after that. But it's illegal now, so you can't do which is good. It was technically methamphetamines. So
wow, I didn't realize you were on meth earlier in life, Dan.
You didn't know you were, but pre-workout, it's good, but really the benefit I get of that versus coffee is I can't drink coffee fast because it's hot and just
that's true.
Already sit in. But sometimes I'll do coffee instead.
The cold brew is a little easier on the gut too, and you can get that stuff down pretty quick too. So I kind of like it too. My brother-in-law referred me. That's pretty good. Let me give her a try.
But, either way, I need some kind of juice.
Sauce for me. Got to have it in the morning too. Yeah, man.
What are we talking about today?
I don't know. I think we just make a whole episode of pre-workout.
Let's do it.
No,
the benefits of methamphetamine. Great.
Get you jacked.
No, seriously, if you do have any kind of anxiety issues, blood pressure issues, arrhythmias, stay away from that stuff, man.
Yeah.
But honestly, by the time
sure.
you're in your warm up, do a good warm up and you're ready to go. You don't need the little caffeine boost.
Yeah, Arnold and Lou Ferrigno seemed to do pretty well without that stuff back in the 70s. So they had pretty good physiques, I'd say.
Yeah. All right.
Without C4.
So today, we're actually going to talk about the rise of the machines today. We hit on this before. Virtual sessions, either it's like you and I talking over Zoom or FaceTime, or even now the rise of the artificial intelligence.
Yeah, man, it makes me think about what's that movie, Terminator. I think Elon Musk is big on that stuff, but I know telehealth is on the rise, and we can either choose to embrace it and try to be the facilitators of it, or just kind of be the old crotchety therapist and say, get off my lawn, I'm not using that stuff. But I think it's here to stay for sure.
I think it's not like COVID was ever a good thing, but if there was ever a better time for COVID to come out, it was after 5G kicked in, because then you could do things like have your groceries delivered, have meetings virtually, have PT sessions.
Yep. We were forced to cut the fat from pretty much everything, and then we realized, well, shoot, there is some good that's from telehealth and can be beneficial.
So talk to me first about some of your experiences with telehealth.
So, in rural West Virginia, telehealth has been not a great tool for us, but it's been a useful tool to try to reach some people deep in the heart, of our state. Otherwise are not willing to drive 2 or 3 hours for kind of specialty care, some of the specialties that we offer. So it's been good in that regard, just to try to get specialty care to more people. But we're limited by the internet is scarce too, in this part of the state and the country. So we're limited with that. And usually by the time our 45 minutes gets up, we just get the video up and running.
Mm-hmm.
I usually help them just with IT issues to try to get it working. So
yeah.
What about you?
So I have 2 clients that I work with. They're more personal training, but I work with them 3 times a week, and we just do it over FaceTime. Of course, I don't do insurances, even for my physical therapy patients. I just do everything cash based, so I don't have to document anything. I don't even know how you go about trying to get reimbursed for it. But so I work out with them through that. Anytime I do get patients, like I just got a patient, he's a friend of a friend, and he was playing tennis a couple of weeks ago. I mean, he served the ball as hard as he could and got a pain in his shoulder blade and numbness tingling in his hands for the last couple of weeks. And so I always try to Zoom with people first, or FaceTime, and just to get an idea of what's going on, quick 15 to 20 minute. That way, when I show up to their house, I know already what's kind of going on, their history. I can tell them, try this. So, I was in my car. He was actually in his car. So I was trying to do some of the, some of the McKinsey kind of things to find out, hey, can we make this better? Can we make this worse? Had him go through a couple of the nerve glide positions. And right away I picked up on the fact, like, dude, this isn't a classic nerve or, disc or nerve impingement. He just came back from the doctor and they said, oh, you have a nerve, a disc issue in your neck. But I was like, what, that doesn't quite sound like that. So when I got to his house this weekend, I kind of already knew, hey, this might not be a zebra, a horse, it might be a zebra. Mm-hmm. And so by the time I got hands on him, I was, going through all my tests and measures. I was like, I don't think you have a disc issue in your neck. I think you just overstretched, a nerve bundle. And kind of gave him some things to go through. And I just actually checked in with him through a text message. And it seems like, hey, he's already kind of feeling a little bit better. So I basically, again, he's a friend of a friend. And I told him, if you want to do physical therapy with me a couple times a week, we can, but I don't take insurance. And, sure. I charge $125 an hour. So try these things. And if you want to go with me, you can. If you're not getting better and you want to, use your insurance benefits, you can do that as well. But, but having that one, 15-minute conversation on FaceTime, that really led me down the right direction with him. So by the time I showed up, I knew what I wanted to look at, and whatnot.
I think that's cool. You're able to use it in conjunction with in-person therapy. And I think that's kind of like, the happy medium, a little bit of yin and yang with telehealth and with in-person therapy. Do we need to come to therapy 3 times a week for 8 weeks? Probably not in the future, moving forward. You also mentioned the billing and coding side of things. As I understand it, you just kind of mark that you're doing telehealth, and the billing and coding is relatively the same. You still have to go through verification of benefits process, which is a real pain in the butt. Some insurances allow it, some don't. It's kind of a racket. So I think it's great that you're able to just cut through all that fat and just deliver the care just purely to the patients. That's awesome.
Yeah. I think one thing that it could help is if, let's say I have somebody and I am seeing them in person, and, go through our PT, get them better, they discharge, and then a month later, something flares back up. Or I just want to check in with them. That's a great way to just kind of check in with somebody real fast. Let's go through some things if you need to, get eyes on them without actually having them come in.
Yeah, no doubt. I like to leave people's charts open for a while. I usually end up forgetting and just never discharge them until the front desk yells at me too, But yeah, I do that in hopes that if they do have a flare up, I can just keep their chart open, continue to document. But yeah.
All right, so let's talk about the rise of the machines. And we hit on this a couple episodes ago when we talked with Kelly about the companies. What is it? United Healthcare is now using a bot.
Yeah. So this is very interesting. So United Healthcare, billion-dollar corporation, just big money, has pretty much built an algorithm where you type in your signs and symptoms, and basically it spits out exercises. It also has something built in to read the person's emotion. I was reading online, Kelly Rodriguez sent me the fascinating stuff. So, I'm all for telehealth, and especially like the use of something like that, I think can be beneficial, but I think it needs to be facilitated by a physical therapist, no doubt about it. And maybe touching base every so often with the bot in use, perhaps. But
I'm gonna, like anybody's even listening to this anyway, but I might ruffle some feathers here, right? I'm a DIYer, right? Like my next project, we're remodeling our closet, right? Whether it's that or fixing a garage door opener, or, doing any of my DIY home projects, I like to just look things up and see if it's within something I can take care of, and then do it myself. Because there's so many resources online. And I think if I wasn't in PT or athletic training and I, hurt my shoulder or my knee or my back, I would just do the same thing. I'd get on Google and get on YouTube and see what I could find and see if I could handle it myself.
Yeah. So we treat a lot of vertigo here, probably get, 5 to 6, 7 cases a month. Do you see people with BPPV, Daniel, with the Dix
anymore?
Yeah, okay.
I did a lot of it in both Tampa and Nashville, but
okay. Well, there's a lot of stuff floating around the internet, and good stuff too, right? And there's some bad stuff. But I had a patient that very symptomatic but negative with the Dix Hall Pike test, and they told me that they did the epilator themselves the day before. And then I said, all right, well, let's see how this goes. And they showed up the next day, gone. It was totally gone. They did well with it. Now I've seen that go the opposite direction.
Yeah.
Too. But it's a possibility now. The information's out there.
Totally. Well, not only that, let's say you do have just general shoulder pain, right? Does it matter the exact structure? If it's my bicep tendon, my rotator cuff, my bursa, and then stability, does it matter the exact the pathology or injured tissue? If I give these a set of exercises, as long as it's nothing that's going to need, it's not a real serious injury, most likely given doing some exercises in given time, it's going to get better.
Yeah.
preface that that's if you already have a good base of strength, if you already have good mobility, if you have, stability, good scapular control, good posture. And we know that that's not the majority of our patients.
No, definitely not. And I think just overall we're just overcomplicated with our exercise and underloaded as a profession too. So I think if we're able to cover just a few bases on, and agree on that online or in person, I think we're going to do people a lot of good with just information to treat themselves too.
Yeah. But again, I don't think having AI or even virtual is going to close a lot of brick and mortar stores or clinics, because I think most people need, that hands-on. They need to be guided. They need those manual cues. They need that progression that you're not going to get with a bot.
That's true. I know we talked before the show, but I think about Amazon and all they have changed the world and how we do business. Used to be, you need something, you go to the mall and you get it, or you go to the store, and now you order it on Amazon and it's there the next darn day. It's magic, and that has changed everything. And now, I think therapy is starting to enter a little bit of that too, where we can just get online and there's so much good information, a lot of bad too, but there's still really, really good products in the stores at the brick and mortar places. But I can't help but think about how Amazon has totally changed the dynamic of the world. So,
well, the other thing too is, we talked about with JW Matheson is getting that personal connection, that therapeutic alliance. And, I don't think that you're going to get that with a bot. Maybe if you're one-on-one with a therapist, you might get some of that. But I think a big part of people getting better is one, having trust and the PT that, hey, this is going to get better and we have a plan for it, and being reassured.
Yeah. Well, one of our earlier podcasts, we talked about plateaus and when people don't get better. And I think something we don't bill for or don't charge for is just facilitating really good care in the continuum of care. Like this person's back is radiating down their leg. It's actually worse. It's more intense than it was when we first started. We've gone through a month of therapy. Hey, you might benefit from an MRI and maybe go to the best neurosurgeon in the city, and this is where you should go. Don't go to this doc, go to this one. So that's worth a ton of value there. And we get $0 for it in the grand scheme of things. So just management, physical management, I think is huge.
I think a big part of who would benefit from doing a virtual versus in person or even a bot is how bad is it? How much of their function is it biting into? Can they work? Can they even get around the house? Obviously, our post-ops, they're not going to do good with just virtuals or even a bot, essentially, especially.
Yeah, sometimes there's some really serious things that we catch. DVTs. One of my patients had a pulmonary embolism, had chest pain, SpO2 plummeted, and had he been doing it, at home therapy with a bot, I don't know that I can't say they would have picked that up for sure. So I think you're right, just for safety measures too.
Looking for a way to improve sport-specific training with your athletes? Then you have to check out BlazePods. BlazePods is a neurocognitive reaction training intervention that can be incorporated into your sessions for patients throughout the treatment spectrum. Visit blazepod.com, enter code EVERYTHINGPT at checkout, and save 15% off your order today. This podcast is sponsored by CSMI, the maker of the HUMAC Norm isokinetic system. Purchase a new or refurbished machine, or you can even upgrade an existing system to bring it up to date with all the latest testing and training applications. Please visit csmisolutions.com to view all of their available products, including the HUMAC Norm isokinetic system, the HUMAC Balance portable computerized balance system, and Sportswear Online. CSMI, better data leads to better results.
What about the this PT Compact, Daniel? Have you heard anything about that?
I've heard you mention it a couple times in this podcast, but I don't know what it is.
Okay, yeah. So basically, if you're licensed in a state, a lot of the heads of these state-run organizations have recognized each other for their licensure. So yeah, we had Justin Elliott on a couple months ago, and he made mention to this, but I forget how many states are a part of the compact. It's several. There's in the West, there's like 13 states that are a part. So if you're licensed in one state, it can be very easy for you to get licensed in the other state and continue. If you're close to a border, that's really nice. But for I think telehealth is a part of that. I'm not entirely sure. Yeah. But that's gonna really change things if that opens up, you know, the country for telehealth, because we're gonna have big business coming through. Oh yeah, with that, no doubt.
Yeah, I think that'll be a good thing. I mean, it's a good thing and it's not. Let's say
it is good and bad.
I have a PT clinic in town. And people in my town could do, if they want virtual, they can do virtual with me, but yet they're going with somebody in the next state over.
Or they're going with someone in California who's put in a $2 million into marketing and taken, but you're a part of your community. Yeah. You're helping, you're sponsoring the little league teams around for your girls, you know, and then, so
it's a funny story about that. So I'm actually working with a guy, and he's a former football player. And I mean, this guy is really strong. And he'd been dealing with quad tendinopathy for about 3 years. And he reached out to a lot of the big national names who are doing, like, you know, they'll do virtual visits. A lot of this started right before COVID. So COVID just was good because that's, you know, where you could get care. And I don't want to name drop the different people he went, but it was 3 big names in PT, and none of them could get him better. And it's not that they're bad therapists. It's just they weren't having eyes on this guy. They didn't realize, wow, this guy, you know, he's not going to be able to do good with wall sits, isometric. Getting him on a body weight slant board squat isn't going to be enough for him. And if they were in person with him like I am, I guarantee they would have gotten to where he is now. And even me, if I had to try to work with him all virtually, it'd be the same outcome that they got. I had to be in there with him to realize, hey, we got to load this guy. I had to do manual techniques because he'd been compensating for 3 years. So we had to fix, you know, his ankles. We had to fix his hips. We had to fix his back. Had to do manual work. Had to do BFR. I had to see how his expressions as he's squatting to know, you know, how much to push, you know, and I wouldn't have gotten that if I'd done it virtually.
Yeah, and you can get a lot of his feedback too, like you said, body language as well as his verbal, you know, feedback as well. And you mentioned the slant board wall sit, probably throw straight leg raise in there as well. You know, those are all very have a tendency to be underloaded, but that we feel like they hold, you know, they've been around there. They're good exercises too. But someone like that who's very strong and got tendinopathy, we need to get hundreds of pounds on there, and in several different ways, you know, whether it be in a comfortable position with the toes forward on a Smith machine, one of my favorites for someone with anterior knee pain, hack squat, you can really do that. I mean, I love the weighted hip thrust in that situation. Put hundreds of pounds. That's a very strong movement.
Yeah. And, you know, he had actually done in, you know, brick and mortar PT as well, but it wasn't a place like you where they have heavy weights, and, you know, they were trying to, and granted, if he had, you know, a knee surgery or something, that'd be where he started. You know, but he needed to be loaded heavily, and you had to have that kind of a setup for it.
Yeah, I would agree. Well, what do you think, Daniel? I think we're just going to be overrun with Arnold Schwarzenegger like Terminators here for therapy, or what?
No, I don't. You know how I think we gotta just stop playing Monopoly, flip the board, and start over. But I don't think it's going to be going to all virtual. People want that hands-on. They want that personal attention, and, you know, it'd be one thing if you're like my guy and just had one rep that, you know, gave him an injury. It's a lot different than somebody who has, you know, bad posture, motion limitations, weaknesses, imbalances. They need that a lot more intensive hands-on.
Yeah, I think it's kind of like, you know, we got this new shiny toy and we want to use it as much as we can. When you got a hammer, everything seems to look like a nail, so to speak. So I think it's a combination of both, though. I think for the right patients, follow up calls, video chats, check-ins. Hey, how you doing? You know, you've been discharged after a month. Let me see how your shoulder lifts up. You know, how you doing with these exercises? Do you have any questions? Things of that nature, building rapport. I think it's a great asset to physical therapy, but I don't think, I don't know, for a select few, I think they could do it themselves. You know, like you could probably replumb your whole upstairs, you know,
I know
if
my
you had
limits.
to.
Here's the thing. I know my limits with DIY, right? There's some projects like, I can do that, but I'm not going to redo my whole plumbing. I'm not going to redo my kitchen. That's where you get the professionals. And it's the same thing with PT. It's like, I got a little bit of shoulder pain. I can handle that. But if I have a full-on rotator cuff tear, you got to call in the plumbers for that.
That's the best analogy we've had all day, I think.
Well, here's the other thing too. My best friend, he was my best man. We were in the Army together. He went into PT school after me. Mike Selvaggi. I keep trying to get you to come on here, right? I want him to come on because he tried to start, it's called online DPT, I think. Maybe if I get it wrong, he'll have to come on to correct it. But he's been trying to start an online virtual practice down in Florida because, you know, he threw a stat out there. The percentage of people that actually go to in-person physical therapy is a lot less than the people who need physical therapy. And if he ever comes on, he can give you stats about it. And, you know, a lot of patients, they'll go to physical therapy just because they're at their annual checkup and the doc's like, oh, how's this going? Oh, my knee's been bothering me. Oh, I'll go to physical therapy for it. And it's like, they don't really want to go all the way to physical therapy. They don't need to do 3 times a week. They just mentioned it because the doctor brought it up. That's a great person for virtual PT. You know, having to take the time to do it, have to take the money to do it versus have a session, try this, let's meet up again in 2 weeks. That's who I think it's absolutely perfect for.
Yeah, I agree. We have something called discovery calls, and I think that patient would kind of fit in there. Like if they're not sure if they need PT, but they just want to talk about it, it's a free, you get 10 minutes of me or Kyle's time in here. We talk about your injury and just what you said. Hey, I think it's they're saying I'm having some shoulder pain. I'll say, okay, well, do X, Y, and Z. And if you're having any issues, call us and schedule an appointment. If it's not better in 2 weeks, chances are it's going to be better, you know? So I think you're absolutely right. That'd be great option for it.
Absolutely. You got anything more on this one?
No, I think we touched on it, man. I think I'm gonna invite a friend of mine on here. He's heavily involved with the state board of PT. I'd like to revisit this and really talk a little bit more about it because there's a lot to know with the insurance side. So maybe more to come on this topic in the future.
Absolutely. And then hopefully Mike can come on, not just talk about this, but I mean, this guy's an entrepreneur. He's tried different ideas, to get, you know, different ways of practicing. And I think he'd be good to be on there, but you know, it's a timing issue. I got to stay on. We might have to record on a different day.
We can do that.
Having you know, little kids does that to you sometimes. So,
and I think I would love to do something on entrepreneurship because our field needs it and we need it in a big way too. So I think that'd be great one for the future here.
All right. Well, that's it for this episode. We'll see everybody again next week.
All right. See you guys.
All right.